True as gold, a comma green, we steady on the rise. Digging truth from ancient scenes, we open blinded eyes. Rhyme sharp like pirates' lines, we break the bondage tight. Kanji speaking revolution, keep the fire burning. Chimpy drums guide our stride, we march with purpose proud. No more silence, we collide, our voices thunder loud. Politics and history, we stitch them in every verse. From Pharaoh's throne to Yaoundé streets, we claim the kanji verse.
Emerging from the rugged landscapes of central Nigeria from the 2nd to 1st millennia BC, the Nok culture stands as West Africa's most earliest known complex society. A sophisticated civilization whose enigmatic terracotta masterpiece and pioneering iron technology shattered long-held assumptions about the continent's ancient history. Discovered almost by accident in 1943 when a terracotta head was plucked from a yam-filled scarecrow near the village of Nok, this culture flourished for over a millennia, leaving behind a legacy of strikingly naturalistic sculpture depicting rulers, musicians, lovers, and the afflicted. Yet the Nok's significance extends far beyond their artistic brilliance, or the status as potentially Trans-Saharan Africa's first iron smelters. As meticulously documented by scholars like Dr. Frederick John Lamb, the profound stylistic and symbolic parallels between the Nok terracottas and the regalia of ancient Kemet royalty, including elaborate beaded collars, the crook and fell emblems of authority, braided divine beards, and depictions of the soul, point decisively towards deep millennia-spanning cultural connections across this era. These artistic affinities, far from being coincidental, form a crucial piece of archaeological evidence supporting Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop's paradigm-shifting model of ancient infra-African migrations and shared cultural foundations originating in the Nile Valley. These artistic affinities, far from being coincidental, form a crucial piece of archaeological evidence supporting Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop's paradigm-shifting model of ancient intra-African migrations and shared cultural foundations originating in the Happy River Basin. The discovery of the Nok, spearheaded by British archaeologist Bernard Fagg, was revolutionary. Radiocarbon dating of charcoal from associated iron furnaces pushed the timeline of complex West African societies centuries earlier than previously imagined, confirming dates as far back as 500 BC and even earlier. Fagg recognized that such a sophisticated artistic tradition, characterized by large heads with distinctive almond-shaped eyes, parted lips, and elaborate coiffures, alongside advanced metallurgy, implied a mature tradition with deep roots. Decades of looting hindered research, but recent excavations led by archaeologists like Brunig and Nicole Rupp have revealed a vast Nok sphere covering over 3,000 square miles. They uncovered evidence of dense populations, specialized artisans, perhaps even terracotta guilds, and a society where stone and iron tools coexisted during a pivotal technological transition. Critically, this research context provides the stage upon which Nok's artistic language, echoing ancient Kemet's iconography of kingship and spirituality, takes on profound meaning. It suggests that the Nok were not an isolated phenomenon, but a vital link in a Pan-African cultural continuum, embodying the westward flow of ideas, symbols, and people from the Happy River Basin along ancient Saharan and Sahelian corridors, precisely as Diop migration model proposes, and more specifically linking back to the Kantiore culture, which would represent the pre-dialectical ancestor of the Pharaonic civilization and contemporary Western Central African populations. Thus, the Nok culture represents far more than just an ancient artistry or earlier metallurgy. It stands as a monumental keystone in African archaeology, its terracotta figures silently testifying to the continent's deep interconnectedness. Their symbols of power crafted in Nigerian clay and resonating with the iconography of the Nile, alongside corroborating evidence of animal domestication trails, genetic links, and shared cultural practices, provide compelling, tangible proof that the civilizations flowing along the Niger River were intimately connected to the legacy of the ancient Hapi, validating Diop's vision of a fundamental African cultural unity forged through ancient migrations. Unlocking the secrets of the Nok means unlocking a crucial chapter in the story of how African civilizations traversed across the continent. Contrary to long-standing Eurocentric theories championed by scholars like Raymond Monti, who argued that ironworking was introduced to Trans-Saharan Africa via Carthaginian or Berber intermediaries, compelling evidence confirms its indigenous development. Henry Lode's pioneering 1952 analysis dismantled these assumptions, highlighting unique African innovations like the distinct pottery cut bellows and the absence of furnaces in the Berber Saharan territories. Lode demonstrated that iron smelting's northern limit aligned with the linguistic boundary of Semitic loanwords for iron, while vast furnace remnants concentrated south of the 16th parallel revealed a deeply rooted Sudanic technological tradition. This autochthony was further cemented by the sacred status of blacksmiths in African societies, where figures like the god Ogun embodied iron's spiritual and cultural centrality, a tradition irreconcilable with foreign importation. Radiocarbon dating shattered preconceived timelines, revealing ironworking in Western Central Africa far earlier than imagined. Sites at Termit, Niger yielded calibrated dates as early as 2900 to 2300 BC, while Nok, Nigeria, and Delaney, Senegal provided dates of 3500 and 2861 BC respectively. Though initially dismissed as anomalies, these findings were corroborated by metallurgical evidence. Iron axes, still crude like stone at Nok, reflected a direct stone-to-iron transition, Siderolithic phase. Similarly, the Great Lakes region, Riawanje and Mubuga 5, as well as Lake Ukariwe, Kadaruka, attested to iron production by the 15th to 13th centuries BC, preceding Meroe's famed industry by over a millennia. This chronology invalidated, Eurocentric diffusionist models, confirming Africa's independent metallurgical genius. And again, this further links these Western Central African populations, as well as a pharaonic civilization, to this Great Lakes complex, and the Kantiore culture, which enveloped and spread across, the African continent through its descendants. There are striking technological continuities that link ancient Kemet with modern Trans-Saharan Africa. The foot-operated bellows depicted in the tomb of Rekhmire in the New Kingdom around 1500 BC and preserved in Marca, Malian forges exemplify shared innovations. These were not isolated parallels. Nok terracottas display regalia echoing Kemetic iconography, including beaded collars, crook and flail symbols, and soul or ba depictions. Such artifacts, alongside evidence of Trans-Saharan exchange networks for iron during wetter periods, reinforce Cheikh Anta Diop's thesis of intra-African cultural unity. Crucially, ancient Kemet's Old Kingdom iron artifacts lacking local ore likely originated, further west into Central and Western Africa. And it suggests a pan-African technological web predating foreign contact. And more specifically, it's the Egazarian tradition in Niger and the Lake Chad Basin, which most scholars believe that the iron from ancient Kemet originated from. Despite overwhelming data, academic inertia prolonged colonial narratives. As late as 1993, Vedrovich reiterated the Carthaginian theory, dismissing Termit's 2900 BC dates as improbable. Kornevin's work omitted Lode's foundational 1952 research and Diop's 1976 dating analysis, while Huard incongruently upheld Mediterranean diffusion despite his own archaeological evidence of Nile-Chad iron networks. This resistance underscored a pattern. Early Nok dates, 900 BC, were systematically reduced to fit Eurocentric frameworks, while Zagawa metallurgists, documented by Arab chroniclers since the 8th century as sovereign iron producers, were marginalized. Only recent findings compelled acknowledgement of Africa's primordial iron mastery, epitomized by the 1986 Yaoundé Declaration. The smelters were black. So when we examine the terracottas, the Nok culture stands as a monumental piece of archaeological evidence supporting Diop's paradigm-shifting thesis of fundamental culture and biological unity across Africa. And we have the analysis of Fred John Lamp proving this. So Lamp's work reveals profound stylistic and symbolic resonances between the Nok artifacts and ancient Kemet. The first is the regalia of authority. Nok figures frequently display elaborate multi-strand necklaces mirroring the bead collars that were prominent symbols of royalty in dynastic Kemet. This isn't merely decorative similarity, it signifies shared concepts of status and divine authority. The shepherd's crook, Heka, and the flail, Nekaka, the quintessential elements of Kemetic kingship, appear strikingly similar on Nok and Sokoto terracotta figures. While the manner of carrying differs slightly, the core symbols representing leadership, guidance, and provision are identical. This points to shared symbolic vocabulary for rulership. Lamp identifies phallus sheets depicted on Nok and Sokoto figures as remarkably similar in design to those reserved for the Nisu and Netzeru in Kemet, long cloth tubes adorned with elaborate bows. This specific and symbolic item of royal, divine regalia strongly suggests cultural transmission. The depiction of males with bounds or braided beards forming a single column in Nok, Sokoto, and Katina cultures directly parallels the iconic braided divine beard worn by the Kemetic Nisu and Netzeru. Lamp confirms this style was a Pan-African symbol of kinship, its presence in Nigeria likely originating from Nile Valley prototypes. The unique Ba and soul among the Nok figurine depicts a perching bird with a human face. Lamp explicitly links this to the ancient Kemetic concept of the Ba, the soul or animated spirit of the deceased, capable of moving freely between worlds. This is not a genetic bird motif, but a specific conceptual parallel concerning beliefs about the afterlife and the soul's nature. Then we have solar symbolism. The curious circles found on the foreheads of some Nok heads recall the sun disk, Aten, symbolism prevalent in Kemet. Lamp notes this symbol persists in West Africa, among the Ewe and Akan groups in Ghana, and this represents the soul or vital force, another enduring conceptual link rooted in ancient Happy River Basin cosmogony. So these artistic parallels are reinforced by concrete evidence from other disciplines, painting a westward movement from classical Africa. The domestication trail of key animals traces a path from the Happy River Basin to West Africa. You have taurine cattle originating in Northeast Africa, in the 9th millennium BCE are confirmed in Mali and in Nigeria. Mali in the 2200 to 850 BC in Kobadi, and then Nigeria in Bukar Kurari from 1600 to 1500 BCE. Sheep and goats first domesticated in Northeast Africa in the 6th millennium BCE, and then their presence in Infra-Saharan West Africa is confirmed at the same Malian and Nigerian sites from 2200 to 1500 BCE. Canis lupus familiaris, or the dog, they're present as herding companions in Northeast Africa by the 6th millennia BCE, with earliest West African evidence in northeastern Nigeria associated with the Gajigana culture 1200 to 1000 BCE. Then you got the guinea fowl, originating in Sudan and the Kordofan region, domesticated and spreading west, with evidence in Ghana, the Kintampo culture early 2nd millennium BCE, and northeastern Nigeria and Gajigana 1500 to 1200 BCE. Then you have the cranes, according to the analysis of Dr. Houlihan and Dr. Blanche, and they were domesticated in the Kemet in the Old Kingdom, and the presence of the related West African crowned crane, or Balearica pavonina, Nigeria's national bird, suggests a cultural transfer of aviculture practices or symbolic significance. So we have that analysis by Houlihan and Blanche, Shillington's analysis of the guinea fowl, coupled with Vierlinciel's analysis of other pastoral domesticates, showing clear evidences of a link between, classical and contemporary Africa, particularly linking ancient Kemet with the Nok civilization. So you have other culture zoology practices, documented by Drs. Blanche and Bryce. You have the leopard skin symbolizing authority from Kemet Sempries to modern West Africa Ekpe societies of Nigeria and Cameroon. Turtle management and tortoise use, utilized for food, materials, and symbolism in pre-dynastic Kemet. And you see similar practices documented historically among the Dogon and West African Muslim courts, presently in the Niger Delta. Now, here are some genetic links. There's a presence of EM2 haplogroups you see in Dr. Eugenio D'Annunzio's research, EV5001, EL516, and EZ15941 that originated in the Lake Chad Basin 10,000 years ago, migrated north into 4,000 years ago, followed by a migration south into Infra-Saharan West Africa. And these provide support for many Igbo and Yoruba traditions, from Akpani Okoronkwo of the Igbo and the Awujali of Ujebu land that speak to Happy River Basin, links between their different groups, right? And you also see evidence of elephantiasis in both ancient Kemet and the Nok culture, combined with archaeological data in ceramics and pastoral patterns indicating movement from the Wadi Howar that connect the Happy River Basin to the Lake Chad Basin. This provides epidemiological and cultural markers supporting the migration route from this classical Africa zone into, what we know as West Africa. So Lamp's analysis explicitly addresses how this connection, outlining viable pathways that negate the Sahara as an absolute barrier in alignment with Diop's model of intra-African movement. You have Trans-Saharan highways. Lamb details ancient trade routes, right? Used for millennia, facilitating the movements of goods, people, and ideas. Camel caravans established by the 4th century CE following older pedestrian routes traversed the desert, connecting regions like Mali to Egypt. Northern Nigeria was a midpoint. Lamb also highlights Susan Parson Blue's research on a direct route from Lower Nubia through Chad, Darfur to northern Nigeria. Crucially, he emphasizes the potential for water-based travel during rainy seasons via interconnected rivers and seasonal waterways. Examples are the Benue, Shari, Hadija, Bahr el Ghazal, Bahr el Arab, Wadi Hawar, and Wadi al-Mali, linking Lake Chad to the Nile's 4th cataract. This southern route avoids the deep desert's core. Lamb stresses the contemporaneity of Noke civilization flourishing around 500 BCE to 200 CE, and this is contemporaneous with the late dynastic period of Kemet, right? And this temporal overlap provides the window for interaction and influence. And Lamb proposes a pan-Saharan set of conventions that spread along these trade routes. When it comes to the speed of the transmission, Lamb notes the ideas like traded goods, faience found at Noke sites from ancient Kemet show that these things travel quickly. Shared concepts of form, utility, and ornament could spread through trade, religious missions, or migrations across the continent. While acknowledging debates about independent invention, Lamb argues for cross-fertilization playing a significant role in specific symbolic forms. So Diop's central thesis argued for the African origin of Egyptian civilization and its profound influence south and west, challenging Eurocentric narratives that isolated Kemet from the rest of Africa. The Noke evidence provides a crucial missing link in the archaeological record for West Africa. When it comes to material proof, the terracottas are tangible, datable artifacts demonstrated sophisticated artistic traditions in West Africa, contemporaneous with the late period of pharaonic Kemet. The specific symbols from the crook flail, braided beard, bobbird, sun disk regalia are not generic African motifs, but have direct high-status parallels in the Happy River Basin. Their presence in the Noke culture strongly supports, transmission in the shared heritage from ancient Kemet to the Noke. The faunal, genetic, and cultural evidence independently traces paths of movements and connections from the Nile Basin to Nigeria, converging around the period of Noke ascendancy. Lamb's synthesis of trade and water routes provides a plausible mechanism for the sustained contact necessary for such profound cultural exchange, validating Diop's emphasis on intra-African movement. The dating of Noke culture squarely places it within the time frame of known Kemetic civilization and the period when Trans-Saharan contact, facilitated by animal domestication and evolving trade networks, became feasible. So the deliberate destruction of many Noke terracottas and the challenges of looting and forgery underscore the fragility of a lot of the evidence that we have available, right? In the sense that it's diminishing across West Africa. Yet the surviving corpus, meticulously analyzed by scholars like Lamb and Cheikh Anta Diop, stands as an irrefutable testament to the deep interconnections within ancient Africa. The Noke culture does not exist in isolation. It is a brilliant manifestation of the cultural continuum envisioned by Cheikh Anta Diop. Its artistic conventions, symbols of power, and material links to animal domestication and genetics form a coherent picture. Populations originating in or profoundly influenced by civilizations of the Happy River Basin from the Delta to the Great Lakes region migrated and traded along established Saharan, and Sahelian corridors, bringing their ideas, symbols, practices, and lineages to what is now Nigeria. And again, this is validated by EM2 phylogenetics or EM2 phylogeography from the Happy River Basin into contemporary Nigerian populations such as the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Igala populations, the Birom in the Middle Belt region, etc., etc. The Noke terracottas are not merely West African art. They are artifacts of the African civilization Diop championed, embodying the enduring cultural and biological ties that bind the Hapi to the Jaliba River Valley. They are, in essence, archaeological proof of Diop's visionary migration model.
Let's go to Karma Green, we steady on the rise. Digging truth from ancient scenes, we open blinded eyes. Rhyme sharp like pirates' lines, we break the bondage tight. Kanji speaking revolution, keep the fire burning. Chill drums guide our stride, we march with purpose proud. No more silence, we collide, our voices thunder loud. Politics and history, we stitch them in every verse. From Pharaoh's throne to Yaoundé streets, we claim the Kanji verse.